And we are live. Hello, welcome to the first Sega Memories live event. So I'll just take a sip of my beer. So straight away we've had some technical difficulties. Me and my guest trying to get him on. You can probably see him in the bottom of your screen now. He's very silent, but he will be talking soon. So hopefully people can see this. Let me just go into YouTube and get the comments up so I can see. Because I tell you what, Google Plus, Hangouts, whatever you want to call it, so complicated. Right, okay. Just mute that so you can't hear me talking. Now I'm hoping it's going to work. So far we have 0 viewers. Just Sonic in the corner. So right then, let me just type. I think I've got a 30-second delay on the broadcast. Can you see me? So we've got Mike, we've got Luke, and Andy Hook. Hopefully you can see me. Just let me know if you can see me okay, and we'll make a start. Yes, you can see me. Right then, 3 viewers, there we go. That looks a bit better than 0. So, this is maybe the start of a new series, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Put my phone down a minute. But basically, we're going to be inviting a guest every few weeks, and just to talk about Sega in general, really. Because for me, this is where it all started, Sega Mega Drive. Well, actually, I tell a lie, I had a Sega Master System only for a few hours. That got sent back, and then I got a Mega Drive. But I've got a list of questions, very rough questions. So, Mr. Guest, will you reveal yourself?
Hello, I'm Sega's most famous mascot.
He is more famous than Alex the Kid.
No. Yeah, Rockstar Runner 7, Rob.
You alright, Rob? You alright?
I am doing better now. Oh, hang on. Thanks.
There we go. So
I'm doing better now. Yep.
We had a few technical issues, didn't we, Rob?
Oh, God, yeah, I think I lost a few hairs, actually.
Yeah. We tried to do a trial run at 7 o'clock because we had some things planned, but we've had no time at all. I got Rob connected about 5 minutes, 25 past 7.
Yep.
So it's just so complicated, isn't it, with the Google Hangouts and live stream and everything.
It was down to the wire, that was, and it's really stupid because we were doing the same thing we tried the last time when this worked, but this time no invites, no nothing. But maybe let's get past that horrific 20 minutes of terrifying. Is it going to work? Is it not? And talk about something fun.
It's all working now. So this is how it's going to work. It's going to last roughly 60 minutes. I've got some very rough questions to ask Rob. We're going to have a chat amongst ourselves. Hopefully he's going to answer the questions I ask. And then you guys viewing, I want you to post your questions in the comments box. And then at the end, or towards the end, if there's any questions for me or Rob or for both of us, then I'll read them out and we can take it from there. So let me just minimise my YouTube window so I can actually see people. Right, here we go.
Oh, my arm was burning something rotten holding that Sonic up for all those.
I know. It looked good though. It looked good.
Yeah, sacrifice.
Right then, Rob. So shall we make a start? We've got 5 viewers. 5 viewers. And I can see comments live. So we'll make a start, Rob.
All right.
So obviously you've introduced yourself, Rockstar Runner 7.
Yeah.
Now you're coming from Finland, all the way from Finland, I believe. 2 hours
I,
in, aren't you?
I am, yep, 2 hours ahead and several degrees cooler.
How cold is it now at the minute?
Actually, here it's to be honest, it's only 0 at the moment, so it's not bad at all.
Oh, it's not bad. We're used to that here in England, so not too bad.
No, it's the spring's on its way in already. Actually, kind of early this year, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, good stuff. So Rob very kindly gifted me the VGA scaler, which I've got set up to the left of me. If you can see that, well, you can't see that, but it's for my vertical Sega Saturn shooters on my LCD screen. There's a video on my channel, and I know Rob's got a video about the scaler on his channel. So yeah, get it sent over and have a look.
Yeah, it's a good solution if you don't want to spend much money.
It is, Robin. Obviously, thanks again for sending me that. I know, very nice of you to send it.
Sure thing, man. You're welcome.
So, right then, first question. We'll get straight into it. Would you describe yourself as a Sega fanboy?
Yes, but not at exclusion of other platforms. Does that make sense? I mean, I love Sega, and I've owned almost all of their systems, but I've also had like all kinds of other systems, such as Nintendo. Sorry, as I was growing up. So yeah, I'm a Sega fanboy, but I also love basically everything.
Right. Okay. So, where did it start for you, Sega-wise? Did it start at home with the consoles, or did it start in the arcades? That caused you to go into the consoles. Where did it all start for you?
Okay. I think it was probably the arcades. I mean, I think that maybe many of us who like really love Sega probably do so because we were visiting arcades and got to see all those amazing Sega arcade machines that there were. I mean, starting with like Outrun and then Afterburner. So yeah, I was really into visiting arcades, and whenever we go on holiday or anything, I'd be spending probably too much time and too much money in there. And yeah, that's where it started, I would say, in arcades.
What's your favourite Sega arcade machine then, Rob?
Okay, the favourite question is extremely hard because I keep changing my mind about this, but yeah, I see you grinning. I could ask you the same question and see if you have to struggle.
Your favourite questions I'm going to ask you actually. So
well, I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I actually have a pretty good answer for that. My favourite arcade machine was the Galaxy Force 2 Deluxe cabinet that I tried one time when I was on holiday in. Oh, I want to say Blackpool. I'm not sure.
right, yeah.
Do you remember the Space Harrier sit down, which had the cabinet, and when you moved the stick, the whole thing would rock around?
The one from Terminator 2.
Sorry, second.
The one from Terminator 2.
No, Space Harrier. Oh,
sorry.
You're right. You're right. In Terminator 2, yeah, they had a cabinet, but that was G-Lock.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah, that was G-Lock in Terminator 2. It was like a sit-down thing, and when you moved the stick, it would go up, down, and left and right. It wasn't like G-Lock, which span around 360. I've always wanted to try that, but I never came across one.
Right.
Anyway, it was like that big moving cabinet, but it was mounted in something that looked like a bloody moon lander. It had like the tin foil and the legs and everything.
Yeah.
So it was massive, and even back then, I think this thing was £1 to play on. So it was yeah, I mean now I would think so, but back then I guess it was a significant investment of my pocket money. But I've never forgot that one time I played that because, I mean, despite being quite an incredible physical construction, the game is absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't think I'd ever seen anything quite like it. All the sprites and everything. It was like Afterburner on steroids, amplified. It's kind of crazy. I've always had kind of then a soft spot for that game.
Very good. Right, then, so moving away from the arcades, we'll make a start on the Sega's home consoles.
Yeah.
So, who bought you your first Sega console, or was it you who bought it yourself? If that makes
All
sense.
right, good question. Technically, it was me. Technically, I mean, okay, I'll get your opinion on this. I got money for Christmas presents, some Christmas presents. So I had some cash that was given to me, and then I was visiting a friend of a friend's who had a Japanese Sega Mega Drive with Sonic the Hedgehog and Gain Ground, I think the game was. And basically, he offered to let me buy it because
Yeah.
I'd just seen Sonic the Hedgehog on Games Master, and that was like, wow, that game. That looked like it was something else. I really want to try that. And we visited this guy's house, and he had it, and I think we spent the whole time playing it. And then he offered to let me buy it. I don't know why, actually, but he
Yeah.
did. So I gave him the Christmas money I had accumulated, and got this console with Sonic and Gain Ground, and it was quite a special moment when I got that home.
And how old were you at this point in your life?
Oh, God. Um,
Many years ago.
I'm I'm trying to think because yeah, it was right around the time that Sonic had come out, I guess.
91 then, Sonic.
Yeah, it must have been about then. Um, but yeah, like I said, it was the Japanese version, and I
Right.
remember I ended up getting rid of it not that long after. Maybe it was like a year later. I'd gotten rid of it because I didn't know how to get any more games for it because the games in the store didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
back
suppose,
then, I guess.
back then, with your imported machines, your grey imports, as they used to call them, it was quite hard getting games. Um,
Mm,
but I mean, back then it were, you could buy the machines from back your magazines, but it was just getting the games, like you say.
yeah, and I guess I just wasn't clued in at the time, so it's like I played Sonic quite a lot, and didn't really get into Gain Ground very much. So I actually sold the system not long afterwards. And but then I can sort of answer your question in a different way. I was bought by my dad a Sega Game Gear after
Right.
that.
Okay. Sega Game Gear, battery eater.
Yeah.
Did you have the power adapter?
Yeah, I think I spent most of the time playing it plugged into the wall.
The super portable handheld.
Yeah. Do you remember how long the batteries last? I mean, it was like six of them in it. Was it six?
Six batteries, yeah, I think in Game Gear.
Yeah,
It's
and it
pretty,
got it
pretty double
munched
A
them.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my sister, she had a Game Gear, and I had a Game Boy, and she was always playing on it plugged into a wall. You couldn't go far really with a Game Gear. A bit like the Nomad. Obviously, that came a bit after the Game Gear.
You've still got one of those, right?
No, I actually sold it.
Okay.
I was doing screen mods a couple of years ago. I got rid of them. I shouldn't have. I had one left actually, that was really nice, but I sold it on. But I wish I would have kept it actually. But never mind, never mind. Right then. So you've answered like my next question about
Sorry.
what your sister or your dad, so we know that. Right then. Favorite Sega related memory. Now this can be anything. This can be anything like playing on the system at a friend's house or around at your house, going to buy a certain game, a
Okay.
Sega advert, anything like that.
Okay. I got a couple. Can I do a couple?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because it's actually no, there's about bloody 100, but I'm not gonna go that crazy. Um, One thing I remember really well is the we were talking about it yesterday. Is the Cyber Razor cut.
Yes, yes, we were talking about. I watched it
That
last night on YouTube, and it feels like last week when I saw it on TV.
yeah, doesn't it?
It was a fantastic advert.
That guy was so cool back then, I remember.
Actually, going away from Sega, I quite enjoyed the Super Nintendo advert as well, which was on roughly the same time. They had a bit of a battle, didn't they, on the TV, Sega versus Nintendo. I remember that as well.
What one was that? Do you recall?
It was like a big screens, some kind of arena or something. Had big screens. I vaguely remember it. And then there was that one with Mario Kart, and that was a Sega one wanted. They had Mario Kart on back of a dragster, and Sonic 2, I think, on back of a dragster. And they were going on about blast processing. I'm sure somebody who's watching will comment.
That's in that big black book. It talks about that advert.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, in the collected Mega Drive collected works.
Mm.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But yeah. Another thing, like it's actually quite a recent memory, if that's all right.
Yeah.
For the Dreamcast, I got a broadband adapter for it. Because you could switch the modem out for a LAN adapter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of tricky to find, but I lucked out and I managed to get one. And I hooked that up. I got Phantasy Star Online version 2, and I connected it up to this custom server that some people are running. I forget the name of it. It's something like Stack or something. And I remember it connecting and getting into the lobby and realize, like, I'm playing Phantasy Star Online on my Dreamcast, like in this day and age. And it was
What year was this?
about gonna say 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Oh, really?
So quite recent, and it was about that.
The server's still online. Is it still working?
No, this is like it's a custom server that people are running for Phantasy Star Online.
Right.
I don't know if it's up. Actually, I don't know if it's up anymore. But yeah, so like I had my Dreamcast online, and I just remember like sort of thinking, this is so cool. Because I never had it online before that. All those years that I'd had the Dreamcast, I never had it online up to that point.
Yeah.
So that was
good.
pretty cool.
Right then, another favourite question.
Okay.
Favourite game on now? I know we spoke about this last night. It doesn't have to be a Sega game like Sonic or whatever, but a favourite game on a Sega system.
Okay.
Oh, Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah.
My treasure.
Absolutely. This game I've completed so many times I don't recall. I love everything about it, and interesting story actually how I got it. I read about it in a magazine, and they were talking about the game, and they were quite excited about it. And I thought, like, I think I need to have that game. It sounds really cool, and the pictures and everything I'd seen. But I didn't have any money because it was like about £40. And a friend of mine told me that he was going potato picking at the weekend, and they paid £20 a day. So I did potato picking for 2 days to earn 40 quid to go and buy this game. And I tell you, I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's pretty hard ass work to pick potatoes all day.
I bet it is.
Because they are cracking. They're cracking the whip, and you're kneeling in stony, muddy ground and digging out all these spuds. It was tough, and I was kind of busted afterwards. But I savor every damn potato I picked because it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah. I've actually got Gunstar Heroes.
Good for you.
But I'll be honest with you, I've not played it that much. I know me and Matt from Soulfunk Retro, we had a bit of a blast on it the other week, well, the other month now. Right,
it is amazing in co-op. It really is.
Yeah, there's a lot going off on screen though, isn't there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, there's that boss which keeps changing forms, the Seven Force. That was a really cool challenge, and Yeah.
Very good, very good. We've got a few comments. Just very quickly go through them. Ratio Van Basten, Russ, why are you on the training beers? They're actually, what percent are these? 4.4% these are ratio. Obviously, it's a non-branded beer, but it's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad.
Mine's 4.3.
Yips, 4.3, there we go. So, a few comments. It's nice that people are talking amongst themselves while we're chatting. Quite cool. Alex Kidd. So Luke, Synergy 1987. Must be talking about the favourite games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll carry on. Right then. Kind of ummed and ahed at this question. But I'll ask you anyway because I wrote it down.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Favourite Sega mascot? Now, there's not many really when you think about it. Not many at all.
Yeah. I'm looking at my Sega collection on the shelf as if to get inspiration. It seems too obvious and easy to say Sonic, right? But it is, and it is, right? I mean,
it is, yeah. It is. Yeah.
Sonic was everything I wanted it to be, you know. It embodied the platform and the difference they were trying to make between them and Nintendo. And
so, what did you think to Alex Kidd on Master System when he was like classed as Sega's mascot?
Looking back at it, I mean, looking at pictures of Alex Kidd now, he looks a bit funny, doesn't he?
Yeah, 20 years, isn't he, I think?
Yeah, I mean, Sonic, cool. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic's just a blue supersonic speedy hedgehog. I mean, nothing
spiky and everything.
Bad at all, is it?
I have very little experience with Alex Kidd. I did, when me and my brother, when we were younger, we did rent a Master System from the video store, and I think we had an Alex Kidd game with it.
Yeah.
And a game called Zillion 2 or Zillion or something like that. Dude with a laser pistol is all I remember. Remember very little about it. The game was all right, but yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to say Sonic. Day, night.
Sonic, yeah. I think a lot of people will go with Sonic, probably because it's the easy option. A few tubers have commented. K-Lad Gamer said Alex Kidd because he was the original.
Yeah.
1MSX to go. He prefers Wonder Boy to Sonic. Retro Tuner, Wonder Boy in Monsterland is the Biz. Sorry, I'm just looking up on my. I can't get my laptop any lower down, so I'm going to have a crooked neck tomorrow. So anyway, we'll carry on. Right then, favourite era. Now, what I mean by this, we're talking 8-bit, 16, 32-bit, and if you want to class the Dreamcast as 128-bit, we'll call it that. So, favourite era for Sega, for you?
Okay, let me preface this, but I love my Mega Drive. I always have, I always will, but if I have to pick a favourite era, it's going to be the Dreamcast. Because I think when the Dreamcast came out, it was another one of those real steps in the quality of gaming that you were seeing. You know, like audio and visual fidelity. I mean, did you get a Dreamcast when it launched?
I didn't know, Rob, but I did follow the build, you know, the hype. I can remember going into Dwight Smith every weekend and reading everything in the magazines. I shouldn't really be saying that. I used to call it the library. And, I remember reading the Dreamcast magazine, the first issue, with a nice looking lady on the front. And I remember reading about Godzilla, the special Godzilla green VMU pack that you could get, or that were about to come out. But no, back in '99, I was in like probably my well, my first year really at work, so cars kind of took me in that direction. I kind of come away from gaming in '99, but I remember going around to a mate's house, and he had one, and he had Sega Bass fishing rod, and that is the first game I played on, and also Crazy Taxi. But no, I kind of drifted towards PlayStation 2, unfortunately.
Yeah,
No, I
right.
say unfortunately, I mean PlayStation 2 is a great system as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't take anything away from that. It was a monster. But yeah, like when the system came out, I remember I gathered several Nintendo 64 games that I had, went down to the game store, dumped them on the counter, and said, "What does this get me towards a Dreamcast?" And he told me, and I fished out the rest in cash, took it home, and I got Sonic Adventure with it.
Yeah,
And you know that stage where you're running along the pier and the whale is just
well,
diving over. It was just something else. It was like this is really a whole nother step at this point.
yeah, I've got to admit that it does look impressive. I think it still stands up today, actually.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, some of the 3D stuff maybe not so much, but there is
Well, I
some.
think we'll hold your tongue there, Rob. We'll revisit Sonic later on in the video, because obviously we all know where Sonic's gone now. It's not uphill. Let's just put it that way.
Mm,
So you're going with Dreamcast then for your favourite era. So followed, we're coming away from that. Favourite Sega console, or have you already?
um, favorite Sega console. I mean, the Dreamcast. I would say is my favorite era. Yes, because of what it achieved and everything, and I love it and everything. But the favorite console is right over here to my left. You can't see it, but it's the Tower of Power.
Tower of Power. So the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and the 32X.
Yes, specifically the Model 1 variety.
And would you describe that as your favourite Sega console of all time?
Yes.
You would.
Oh God, I want to say that and the Dreamcast. Could I tape them together and say
Well,
this is one thing?
well, you could go. I mean, you could gaffer tape it to the side, really, if you want.
Yeah, I mean Sega was probably thinking about that.
Yeah, they probably are.
Can we
So,
connect this to the Mega Drive somehow?
yeah, well, talking about add-ons and filler gaps and everything else, what's your thoughts on the whole 32X stroke Saturn era?
Yeah. Firstly, like when I think about the 32X and the Mega CD, like people tend to say, "Oh God, they were crap," but they're not. They're just more options, more tools. If anything, if you can say that there wasn't anything good on it, you can't blame Sega for giving you more tools to do things with if you weren't able to come up with a decent idea for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the PC Engine CD, they made some cool stuff on that that could have easily just been done on the Sega CD, but no, let's make FMV games or something because that's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, I think going back to that time with the Mega CD, for some reason, I don't know why, FMV were pretty big. I mean, is that what?
I think it was probably because it was just different, and they
Yeah, 'cause
thought that they could sell the difference.
with the Philips CDI out, I know that used a lot of FMV. I know my dad had a CDI. So yeah, I think they could have used the Mega CD a lot better. Um, and I think
Yeah.
they could have. I know I spoke with Steve last last weekend, and he was saying that really that maybe they should have gone with combining the 32X in with the Mega CD.
That would have
Done it,
been great. That would have been great. Yeah.
a 32-bit Mega CD add-on rather than just staying with a 16-bit.
I
Is
mean,
it?
the Mega CD itself has a faster X68000 in it. I mean X68000. Sorry, just a 68000. I'm talking about a
Yeah.
bloody PC there. It's got a faster processor in it, so there was something. But I mean, there are some really good 32X games. There are some really good Sega CD games. There's nothing wrong with the hardware. It's just that the majority of the things that were developed for it were misguided.
Yeah.
My opinion. My opinion.
I mean, I bought a Mega CD. I know I've told this story loads of times before. I went down to buy Hyperstone Heist with my mum, and I came away with a Mega CD, and I've still got it now. It's sat in front of me. I'm staring at it.
Mm.
Either 240 or 270 pound, and it came with a few games, and I still feel guilty to this day for getting my mum to spend that much money, because at the time
How did you manage that?
I really don't know. I really don't know, Rob.
Puppy dog eyes and please, I can't breathe without it.
I remember walking past. I don't know what shop we went into. It wasn't Curry's. It might be like something like Debenhams, and we walked past the window.
Mm.
And I remember seeing it in the window, and I think they had like checker plate under it or something, and it just looked so cool. It all lit up with the front lights, and they were playing. I think it was Solfease on the TV.
That's
And
not bad.
Yeah, I remember saying to my mum, "Well, that's a new Mega CD that's come out," and I can't remember what time. I think I had some pocket money or some birthday money. It might have been like October time. I've been saving it up since August, and I wanted this Turtles Hyperstone Heist game. But for some reason, she turned around and she said, "I'll get it for Christmas for you, but don't tell your dad." So got it, and I had to assemble it in my bedroom. Got the little, the shielding plate, and you got like one little screw. Does
the system you have now have the shield plate?
Yeah, it's still got it. Yeah. I mean,
mine has no shielding anywhere on it.
It can work without that. It's just.
They had to, what I read is that they had to have it to pass some bloody laws or something.
Yeah, I did read that. Yeah. Same as with the Japanese Mega Drives. They don't have any shielding inside, do they? Sonic's making an appearance.
Yep. Woo! Sorry, he's getting excited, running around. Yeah, the 32X, as I've said, I think on the last stream, that I went out and bought one. Maybe wasn't launched there or anything, but it was pretty soon after it came out, and I never regretted it.
Because the 32X?
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let me take a step back if we got time. Hopefully. I had bought myself a Mega Drive 1 and a Mega CD 2. I went to Dixon's, and I think I'd done some I had some little job I was running, and I'd earned some money off that, and I had some money I'd saved up and from Christmases and stuff or whatever, and was selling some things, old games I had, and I went and bought a Mega Drive 1 and a Mega CD 2. Yeah. So I had that system, and then when the 32X came out, they were advertising virtual racing and all things like that, and it's like I played virtual racing in the arcade and was quite amazed by it. So I thought, ooh, I would really like that. So again, this time I used some student money I'd acquired. So I'd gone to sixth form at that point.
Yeah, okay.
So wisely spending my money. And I bought the 32X and never regretted it, because virtual racing was brilliant. I loved it. And it had the arcade perfect Space Harrier, which is one of my all-time favorite Sega games.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm still yet to buy a 32X. I nearly did at the Leeds Retro Market a few weeks ago.
Yeah, hearing you talk about that, I was like, oh, so close.
You heard about that, didn't you?
Yeah.
But no, I decided not to. I bought myself an Amstrad instead.
Well, you've not done bad there.
So, but anyway, let's not get onto the Amstrad. It's not the time and the place for it. It's all
Roland
Sega.
in space is the best.
Roland and the Caves, I prefer.
Space.
Caves.
Space.
Right then. Got a few more questions. Right then, let's talk a bit about modded consoles. Mainly the Mega Drive.
Yep.
Is my Mega Drive? I'll tell you what my Mega Drive's got. It runs an RGB SCART with a separate stereo input jack to the front, so it's got true stereo sound, and it's been modified so it can run at 50 or 60 hertz. A language switch, so Japanese or English. Like I've got Street Race 2 in the background, that changes it to bare knuckle too. And also, mine's got the overclock switch, which takes it from 7 megahertz, I believe, all the way up to an incredible 14 megahertz.
Sonic approves of speed.
It does. It does. Sonic really does.
Is there any games that make a benefit of that?
I'm actually going to do a video in the future because Pat, any old username, if you're watching, Pat, hello. I'm going to do a video and show you what difference the overclock function does. You'll mainly notice it if you've got like over 100 rings in Sonic and you get hit by an enemy. You've got that really horrible slowdown where he falls back. You've got rings scattering everywhere.
Yeah.
If you run it at 14 megahertz, it gets rid of that. And I don't know whether it's like a placebo effect or what, but it does seem to make the game or make certain games smoother when you're playing. So I'll just leave it. It's always running in 14 megahertz. It's just the 50 and 60 hertz that I have to change.
Yeah, sometimes that makes games go wonky.
Yeah, it does. Street Race 2 at the minute, that will not run in 60 hertz. It does not like it.
Does it complain, or does it just not run correctly?
It just flickers screen.
All right.
It just scrolls up and down. It won't run it.
Yeah.
I believe it's already what's the word for it? PAL optimized.
Yeah.
Right. Sonic 3, I think that's the same. There's no benefit in running it at 60 hertz. Sonic 3 will run in 60 hertz. It's very glitchy. So.
But does the PAL copy of Sonic 3, although it's like the speed is correct, do you still have the black bars?
You do, yeah. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, that's the thing. They never bother to fix that. I can't think of any games that don't have them. Hopefully somebody maybe in the chat knows. That'd be cool. But I tricked Virtua Racing on 32X to run at 60 hertz because I have a PAL copy.
Yeah.
And if you boot it in 50 and then switch it to 60, it gets past the protection in the majority of cases. But that one is speed fixed, so it ends up running too fast, and the music's going like really quickly. The cars are flying everywhere. I was actually finding it quite funny, but knew it was kind of messed up. It was just running way too quickly.
But do you run your games in 60 hertz then on the Mega Drive?
Okay, I guess I'll go back to the beginning of your question because I kind of bounced it back at you. So yeah, I've got the Tower of Power. The Mega CD has no mods at all. There's basically no need to mod it. The Mega Drive has a region mod, the Japanese English switch. It's got the 50-60 hertz switch. I cut the composite video output because it was interfering with my RGB. I was getting some crap in the sync because of the sync. It was using sync to get the video, or video to get the sync, or something like that. So I actually cut the composite output from my console, and it cleaned up the picture quite a lot.
Right.
I also installed a stereo jack into the back of the system, just like the same as you have in the front. I put one in the back, so it's tapped off the same points. That way I could take the audio out into the Mega CD with just a really short cable in the back instead of running one to the front of the system.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bit tidier. And then my 32X has a 50-60 switch.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to you a few weeks ago about the 32X running in 60
Yeah,
hertz, 50 hertz.
it's a really easy mod.
Yeah, but if I've got the 32X in my system, I've got to get all the correct speeds. Is that what you're saying?
They should be running at both the same speed. You don't have a language switch. It's just the frequency. The language is whatever the Mega Drive is, but you need to have the frequencies the same. You can actually play around with it. You can switch like the frequency of one of the systems, and you see the images sort of go a bit skew with.
Yeah.
I use that sometimes to tell like what the Mega Drive is rendering and what the 32X is rendering.
Is that what you commented the other day when you were playing Blackthorn?
Yes, I am playing Blackthorn, Russ. Thanks for mentioning that.
You are, Rob. Are you doing a game? You're doing a gameplay series, aren't you, at the
Do you
minute?
know what I am? I am doing a gameplay series of Blackthorn.
Yeah, I think maybe people should check your channel out, Rob. What's your channel's name?
Join the twos and threes of people as they follow me playing Blackthorn.
So Rob's playing Blackthorn on the 32X. He's doing a playthrough. His channel name is Rockstar Runner 7. Go and check him out. Go and give him a sub. He's got some great videos on there, haven't you, Rob? You got your. I know one of your first ones that caught my attention was your Mega CD1 with you converted it into a little PC, which is quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people might have been fuming that I was doing that, but the hardware inside was stuffed. It had suffered a electrical failure, and it was dead. Um, yeah, my kids are actually using that as their PC now. So
Hello.
I'm trying to get the Sega in at a young age, if I can, and make sure that they play Sonic regularly and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Trying
well,
to be a responsible parent.
in a few years' time, they might be gone altogether. So you need to preserve the legacy, don't you, somehow?
Yeah.
So yeah, very good. So yeah, RGB, SCART, 50, 60 hertz. We talked about.
Yeah. So I'm running in 60 hertz almost all the time.
Hertz, exclusively in 60 hertz. So, do you play your retro consoles? Now, this could be any console, really, 'cause you've obviously got more than just Sega. Do you run it on an old school CRT like myself, with Scanline Glory, or do you use an LCD stroke LED stroke plasma flat screen?
All right. Well, I have that fantastic Bang& Olufsen, the same one you do. It's an amazing screen. Typically, I play my Neo Geo on that one.
Right.
But I don't get to use it very much because it doesn't live in this house. Because we're living in the city, right? So we don't have a very big house, and I can't really have the CRT hanging around here. So it's living in my friend's house, which is like a mansion.
Right, okay.
So I'm going around there to play on that sometimes. But at home, I got my systems hooked up to an XRGB3 going to a LG TV monitor, which is an IPS flat screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's personal preference with CRT versus LCD.
But God, they're amazing. Those decent CRTs. After I got rid of my old Sony, I kind of forgotten about them. I didn't want to think about CRTs anymore because flat screens don't take any room. But when I got back into retro gaming, it's suddenly you start to think that, hey, maybe there was something to that after all.
Yeah.
And when I got the B&O, it was oh right,
Yeah.
it looks so much better here.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I had an old, very old Sony, I think like a 32-inch Trinitron when I lived at my mum and dad's, and I was up in the loft, so it were a big old space.
Was it 4x3?
What is Trinitron? I don't think it's 4x3, is it?
Well, the Trinitron was just the tube type. They made 16x9 in those two. Mine was
16 by 9, I think it was. Yeah, thinking about it.
So you had a wide one, right? Okay.
Yeah, it were a wide one. Yeah, it wasn't 4x3. But when I knew I was moving into my first house, I realised that I couldn't take the Trinitron with me. So I started looking for a decent LED stroke LCD, well, an LCD screen. And I knew from previous experience and just reading stuff on the internet that they look crap. Well, they can look crap. I mean, you can make them look better. So I just typed it in on Google, and straight away it came up with a video. I think it was from Future Mac 5. I don't know if you've seen his channel, his videos.
Yeah, it was him. He was the
Yes.
one that I started thinking, shit, I need to look at these B&Os.
Yeah, well, same for me. I saw that video. I thought, right, I'll have a look on. I looked on eBay, couldn't see anything, and I found the one I've got now on Gumtree for like 40 quid with the remote. The remotes go for a fortune, as you probably know.
I paid €40 for mine with the remote, so
Yeah,
it's quite the same.
It's even cheaper than me, then, isn't it? Or is it dearer than me?
No, except well, nowadays it's about the same.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I saw that and I thought, yeah, I'm having that bad boy. So I have actually plugged my Mega Drive. I've got an LED TV downstairs, Samsung 42-inch or 47-inch, something like that. And I plugged my Mega Drive into that, and it looked okay. Don't get me wrong, but now for me now, I'm used to the scan lines and the picture on the B&O. I mean, I'm looking at, you can't see it because it's off camera, but for me, it's all about the B&O. And obviously the Sony broadcasting monitors. I know I've just caught a comment beside of me. Andy Hug, 8-bit Andy Hug. He's recently bought a BVM. Oh, sorry. He's got a BVM and a B&O. Yeah, you have, haven't you, Andy? And the BVM blows it away. So, yeah, I mean, it is a really nice set, the BVM, but it's quite a big, chunky, heavy thing, isn't it, Andy? I don't know how much it weighs compared to the B&O.
Yeah, you got to get the BO. It's very svelte and it looks good.
It's stylish into the B&O. It looks the part, and it's quite slim for a CRT.
Yeah, really.
And yeah, I mean, it looks brilliant. So yeah, so it mix both, bit of both worlds, aren't you, really?
Yeah, I mean, I would be using the BO all the time if I could, but I can't because of space. That's basically what it comes down to.
Right then, so how are we doing for time, Rob? We're on about 20 past 8.
Yeah, I'm fine. You can keep going if
okay.
I'm not bothering everybody else.
So, right then, I'll change it up a bit now.
Okay.
Going back to probably 1993, 1994. So before the 32X, before the Sega Saturn, probably the Mega CD was out because that came out pretty early. That came out about 93.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
But anyway, you've just been promoted to the head of Sega. There you go.
I'm going to buy a Ferrari.
You get an applause for that. You get an applause for that.
Okay,
hang on. A promotion, Rob. There you go. So I know. That's good, isn't it?
Sorry, I'll stop playing with this.
In your room?
Yeah, it's quite busy around here. I'm just the only one in the camera.
So obviously, as we all know, Sega was a bit of a split company. We had Sega of Japan and Sega of America.
Yeah, there was basically no integration.
For argument's sake, Rob, we're just going to say that Sega, in our little question, our make-believe question, it were all one. It were all one. So you are now Mr. Sega back in 1993. So the Mega Drive, it's probably at its peak. It's doing really well. And you've got to bring out something else. Now, some people approach you about the 32X, some people approach you about the Sega Saturn. So, as you all know, the 32X was a stopgap for the Saturn. But
yeah, I love it, but it was.
What would you do? What would you do, Rob? Go ahead.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm an engineer, not a manager. Okay. I mean, we've got 2020 on this. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I think perhaps the 32X should not have happened. I mean, for them, they would have been better off if they hadn't sunk the money into it, because I doubt it was profitable for them.
Because
Still, I
obviously
mean,
they were the 32X that came out, and then there were talk of the Neptune. Were it the Neptune? Up the all-in-one 32X and Mega Drive. I mean, obviously that never got released. I don't know what would have happened if that would have been released. But Sega Saturn, originally it just had I believe, the one 32-bit processor, the Hitachi, was it? And then they got wind of Sony PlayStation specs, so then they kind of rushed it, didn't they? And they
yeah,
upgraded two
I
processors.
think that's kind of like where it went wrong for them, because they were going to be making this great 2D machine, and
Yeah.
instead they had to react to the 3D that was happening. I mean, I like to think that it would have been fantastic had there been this incredible 2D machine that, instead of all of the resources they put into the 3D, they would have yet further improved the 2D to make something like quite amazing there. But I have to feel that would have been killed in the marketplace against the PlayStation,
Yeah.
because although first generation 3D is kind of ugly in the most place, it was different. It was a step, and that's what the market gravitated towards. I mean, we can see that looking back now. So
Do you think, going back to it, do you think Sega's original plan was to build the Sega Saturn as a 2D 32-bit powerhouse, not a 3D machine?
I mean, that's what I believe that they were probably up to. I mean, looking at it, because it does great 2D stuff, and the 3D is
I can vouch for that.
not up to par with the PlayStation generally. Although
No.
there are some great 3D games. Bug slash. um, but
Apologise, viewers, if you're listening with headphones.
yeah, sorry about that.
Here comes that.
Um, but yeah, I would have loved some incredible 2D machine, I think. But
Yeah.
I know it would not have been successful.
I know a lot of people talk about the jump from 16 to 32-bit. I mean, looking back now, it were a pretty big jump, a really big jump. And I remember playing first game I ever saw and played on the PlayStation. We ran at a mate's house after school, and it was Destruction Derby, and I was gobsmacked. I just couldn't get over, the freedom of what you had, the 3D worlds, polygons, and everything else. But yeah, I mean, it was a massive jump. So maybe Sega weren't quite prepared for that, and they, like you said, they were planning on a 2D machine, and then they got wind of Sony's master console, the PlayStation, which was born, as we all know, from Nintendo and the SNES CD add-on. I mean, that's a whole different story altogether, that.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Their main rival spawned the system that would go on to basically steamroll Sega out of business. It's kind of ironic.
It's really when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think that if they were unable to foresee what the PlayStation was really going to do, and certainly unable to react to it, as we saw, that maybe if they then would have considered perhaps not doing anything, maybe waiting and working on the Dreamcast already or something. I don't know, because would it have been worse to bring out a Saturn than not bring out anything?
I mean, going back to, if we jumped in the time machine and went back and looked at it, we had Nintendo with 64-bit, we had the Jaguar, which was technically 64-bit, I suppose. Well, probably 32-bit, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know what all the manufacturers were thinking. I mean, Sony must have looked at Sega and gone, right, they're building the Saturn, it's 32-bit. Whatever we have to do, we have to beat them, because they're our main competition. They had 64 wasn't out, the Project Reality or Ultra 64. Sorry, I just have to
Alright,
put
Frank, how you doing, mate?
is featured. Views will probably go up now. Frank's here.
Yeah, we should have put Frank in charge of Sega. Would have been alright.
You missed that. I was just yawning. Yeah. So going back to the original question, we kind of took a bit of a detour.
Yeah, sorry.
I know it's an hard. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. So
it's
you
just
got
that
rid of 32X?
Sorry.
Sorry, go on. Would you have got rid of the 32X? Would you have just scrapped that and focused on the Saturn?
Yes, I would have, because I love my 32X, but it was diluting the market, if anything, and it didn't help them.
Do you think that was the beginning of Sega's downfall? I know people blame the Mega CD. I know I lost faith in Sega, even though I'm a Sega fan now. I lost faith after the Mega CD. I watched the 32X bomb, and then I thought, there's no way I'm buying a Sega Saturn.
Yeah, and once the PlayStation got rolling, it became obvious that buying the Saturn was not the right thing to do, because we didn't live in Japan and we didn't get all the cool shit that they did.
Yeah. Plus, the Sony PlayStation, it looked cool. I remember everyone at school talking about it. It just looked the system to buy. It was a new system. It was brand new, wasn't it? It were, it had a clean slate. Nobody, even though nobody knew about it, they only had to look at Sega, its main competition at the time, and they had a kind of failed CD unit and a failed 32-bit add-on. So I can see why people went towards the PlayStation, because they probably felt a little bit let down. So maybe, going back to the question, if you got rid of the 32X and just focused purely on the Sega Saturn, could things have been different? And obviously, got the Japanese games. Maybe if Sega of Japan, Sega of America would have talked a bit more, maybe things would have been different. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if I was, as you said, if I was this uber head of Sega, you would have had them working perfectly. You wouldn't have had games separated over here and over there. You would let gamers decide what they want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 32X probably should not have happened. They should have concentrated on the Saturn. Because, yeah, I mean, no, I was wondering, like, what if they hadn't done the Saturn either? I think you can't be out of the market that long, because then you're dead.
Yeah, you've got to stay relevant, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think if they would have not done the Saturn, I think the PlayStation would have come out anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
After all the research and development Sony put in with Nintendo, it was only time before they were going to bring the console out anyway. So I think they needed to bring something out. But then obviously looking at the Saturn, it wasn't out that long, and then the Dreamcast came along in 1999.
And as amazing as the Dreamcast was, it suffered a similar fate. So sad.
It did. I think at the time it was ahead of its time. Looking back now,
I think that, I mean, to me, I think the Dreamcast is a lot like the Neo Geo. I mean, it was a step above the other systems at the time. There was arcade hardware that was basically the same. The Naomi for the Dreamcast and obviously for the Neo Geo was the same. And there was all of these awesome arcade games to play.
Yeah.
And it developed a cult following just like the Neo Geo does. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a cult following now. I mean, I've only, I bought my first Dreamcast last year. And I class myself as a Sega fan. I bought my first Sega Saturn this year. Sorry, last year now. Japanese variety. I mean, for me, it's always going to be about the Mega Drive, Sega-wise. It's all that's where it started for me, really. But yeah, it's a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sadly I'm not a business guy, so I
No,
don't have the brains to answer that question correctly.
no, I don't think, even if we went back in time and changed stuff, I don't know how it would change now. Um, I mean, really, if you want to really change something, I suppose, if you had a DeLorean on your drive,
Hmm.
go back in time and somehow stop Sony from producing the PlayStation.
I'm not
Really?
sure I would. I'm not sure I would because I think what they
No.
did for the industry was a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think they brought new things to the industry. I'll agree with you. Um,
But I mean, yeah, for the love of Sega,
for the
it's
love of
like,
Sega,
hey guys, it's got to be better than this, okay?
I mean, what was it Sony that killed Sega?
No, they did it to themselves.
Did they implode themselves?
Yeah, I think the 32X was neat, but they shouldn't have done it. The Sega CD was neat, but they did not fulfill its promise. And you can't do that kind of harm to your customer base. These people who are loyal to you, you can't keep kicking them in the nuts because they'll only take so much of it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
when the competition comes out with something that's technically better,
yeah. No, it's a tough one, isn't it? That it really is a tough one. So right, and then I could really say the same about the Sonic franchise, which we touched on earlier on.
yeah.
I think Sonic's golden age for me was the 16-bit era. I know the Dreamcast. I mean, they skipped the Sega Saturn, the 32-bit, and then went straight to the Dreamcast,
Mm.
Sonic Adventure. But I think since then it's just gone. It's really gone downhill. There are only really Sonic Generations. That
What I would say is that I mean a lot of people don't like Sonic Adventure, but I had it when the Dreamcast came out, and it was, as I said, it was like this something else at the time, and that planted a seed in me that I will always love that game, right?
yeah,
And I think it's fun to play. I just enjoy it. But you're right. Like after that, it's not been so good. But I love Generations. I really, really did. I have the big ass collector box which
oh yeah, yeah,
came with the statue. This is one part of that statue which has Big Sonic and
right,
Little Sonic.
yeah.
I bought Little Sonic because I knew you'd probably be more interested in that.
That's the
Um,
Sonic.
and you got like the ring, and there was a couple of books and music, and everything was quite an amazing set. And I
Mm.
loved that game. I really, really did.
I mean, I actually bought a 360 purely for Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
Um, and as much as I enjoyed the game, I really bought it to see the remakes or the remake of the classic Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 levels.
Yeah, those were pretty good. I mean, what did you think? Did you reckon they were okay?
Yeah, I think they were good. Um, I don't know what it is. I just found myself going back to Sonic 2. I remember playing Sonic Generations, and then I thought, right, we played that for a few days. Let's see how it compares back to Sonic 2.
Right.
And I don't know. I just found myself enjoying Sonic 2 more. I don't know if it's because I've got a lot of deep-rooted memories and nostalgia for that game. I don't know what, but yeah, I just found myself going back to that, and I used to play Forza 5, was it Forza 4? One of them online, and kind of just lost touch with it really, and that's
Mm.
when I decided to get more into retro scene. I realised then the Mega Drive was the one I was really interested in, so I thought, yeah, I'll put F into that, and that's when I first bought an RGB SCART cable, because I was running on bloody RF composite. Well, not even composite, just RF. And
Wow,
shock when
that
you think
must have been
about
a
it.
shock for you, yeah.
But I remember the first time I got the RGB cable, I bought it off eBay, plugged it into the system, and I could not believe how good it looked. And when I got it modded, well, I've actually got another Mega Drive that I had modded, and I'm running at 60 hertz. It was unbelievable, really well, really good. So yeah. Anyway, guys, if you're viewing, I know there's been a lot of activity in the comments. I'm not being ignoring you. Well, I suppose I have really. I know you've been talking amongst yourselves, but if you want to start sending us some questions, either to me or to Rob or to both of us, and I'll scroll through the comments now and just have a quick look back.
While you're doing that, I'll just tell you an interesting little fact. I used to have an Amstrad Mega PC. Do you know what that is? Yep,
Yes,
I had one of those, brand new, bought from Curry's, I think it was.
I tried to get my dad to buy one. There were a lot of money, weren't there?
Yeah, but I wanted a computer, and of course I was suggesting to parents that I think this is the one that I should have.
Yeah,
It looked pretty good.
I like this stuff.
Yeah, and I guess at the time I didn't appreciate that I was in fact playing Mega Drive games on a monitor with like that clarity. Thinking back to it now, and like, how did I ever not notice how much better it looked than on my old shitty little TV I used to have in the bedroom? That system was really cool, and I know they go for a lot of money these days.
Worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right then. So we've got the first question. It's from Andy Hug. It's to me. Top 5 Mega Drive games. Go. Top 5 Mega Drive games. Bloody hell. We're going to be a bit boring, Andy, and I'm going to say Sonic 2.
Sonic 2.
Micro Machines 2 Turbo Tournament. Just looking at the Mega Drive games opposite. Sonic 3. What's that? Is that 3 games? Virtual Racing. And even though I played it the other month, and I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I did back in the day, purely on nostalgia and for the love I had for it back in the day, Bubsy the Bobcat 2, and it's probably not that good now. Is that 5? So, right then, K-Live Gamer, worst Mega Drive game you ever played? For me, it's DJ Boy, and I've done a gameplay video on my channel. So, Rob, do you want to answer that question? Worst Mega Drive game you ever played?
The worst, not the first.
The worst.
The worst.
Worst
oh god, I don't know. I don't think I have an answer for that. Sorry. Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind?
No, I guess I've only played good games.
A few people have. Mike's commented Rise of the Robots. Andy said about Shaq Fu. Remember Shaq Fu? I remember the hype surrounding Rise of the Robots. It made Shaq Fu look like effing Street Fighter. I do remember Shaq Fu, and I do remember the hype on Bad Influence for Rise of the Robots. So, come on then, guys. Some more questions. Questions for both of us. I'll just scroll through the comments. I know people
I got a wicked on the day that Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition came out. I was playing it so long, I got a massive blister on my thumb.
Was this with the 6-button pad?
Yeah. Sure. Got one right here.
I see. Look. No, I've not actually got a 6-button pad.
Well, they're pretty cool. A lot of 32X games use it.
32 games. So, we're just waiting for some questions, Rob. People are talking amongst themselves. So come on, guys, if you've got any questions. I think I've missed loads, actually. People have...
Yeah.
I know, Luke, the Synergy 1987, you commented earlier on about a microswitch Mega Drive controller. I don't know if you've seen mine. I've shown it quite a few times recently. And it's the IMP Intelligent can't even read it out. But if you look back on my one, I think it's the Amstrad pickup video. The thumbnail's got the blue CPC screen. Click on that, you'll see. I'll show it in that. I'll talk about with Streets of Rage. But that can be used with PC Engine and Mega Drive. So, Andy's saying to me, Gruss, best fighting games on the Mega Drive. I'm not really a big fighting fan, I'll be honest with you, Andy. I've got Fatal Fury. Probably Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage 1 and Streets of Rage 2. I suppose they're classed as fighting games. What about you, Rob? What's your best fighting games?
Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition, Mortal Kombat 2, Virtua Fighter. All of those are really good.
So you're more of a fighting fan, aren't you? Than
yeah, I in my youth I used to be pretty good. Skills are somewhat rusted these days, but I'm still not bad.
Obviously, in your pastime, in your hobbies, you're also into fighting as well, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, in real life actually, yeah.
In real life, yeah, we're doing not to mess with you.
I can't throw fireballs yet. I keep trying.
No,
but...
still practicing.
Yeah.
So, Horatio Van Basten, best and worst Mega Drive shooter. Best and worst. It's got to be either Raiden or probably Thunder Force 4. And for the best shooter, and the worst. I don't really know. I'm trying to think. I've got Soul Piece in my head, but I don't want to say that. But I did play it the other week, and it's really, really slow. I know I used to enjoy it on the Mega CD. I don't know what people think of that. What about you, Rob? Best and worst shooters?
Best is this.
There you go.
That's my favorite. It is incredible, and of course you know that it's actually got, despite being an incredible shooter, it's got an absolutely awesome soundtrack that's worth listening to with a really good stereo system.
Yeah.
Worst shooter. No answer. Sorry.
No, it's hard, isn't it? All these questions. Mike, Kit171, Eternal Champions is pretty good. Sure, you just asked me a question before it scrolled down. Let's have a look. Hold on, getting a bit confused. These questions are coming in thick and fast. We've answered that one. I'm sure Mike just said something about. I can't see it now. Hold on, let me just go to a full screen so I can see what I'm doing. Oh god, these questions are flying in. So Matt's here, Soulfront Retro. Evening, Matt.
All right, Matt. We've been enjoying your artwork in the background.
What's that?
We've been enjoying his artwork in the background.
We have. Sorry, I'm not doing very well here. I've seemed to have lost a chunk of questions. Right. Here we go. I've entered that. K-Live Gamer. Most accomplished soundtrack for the Mega Drive.
I think we just answered that.
Yeah, I think you have. For me, I think it's one of the Thunder Force. Thunder Force 4 is really good music. And I'm trying to think what else. Probably a Sonic game, because you can't beat Sonic, can you? Can't beat Sonic. So, what else we got? Steve's here. Sorry guys if I'm not reading your questions out. I think somebody asked me. I can't find out who asked me now, but they asked me what the easiest game, the easiest Mega Drive game. Easiest Mega Drive game for me Well, yeah, there are these questions. Rob, what about you? What's the easiest Mega Drive game, Rob? What do you reckon?
I could say Thunder Force 4, but that would be a complete damn lie. Um,
Yeah.
Easiest.
I don't know. I don't know myself.
Don't know. It's games are easy these days. They used to be challenging. So
I can't really answer that. Not without putting some major thought into it. So yeah, I don't know about that.
all right, maybe I could say Virtua Racing because I can get first place just about every single time.
Can you?
But
I
maybe
know
that's
me
just
and,
maybe that's just skill as opposed to being easy. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if you saw that video. I think it was on Matt's channel. It might be my channel. I showed him. I was showing off my my lap times from back in the day. I've got it inside the box and a little bit piece of card. I don't know if you saw that.
Cool.
But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna issue that as a challenge to you. I know you did
Cool.
the games. That's a challenge for me.
No.
So I'm gonna issue that as a challenge.
All right.
In fact, bear with me. I will return in about 20 seconds.
I bet I'm gonna regret having said I'm good at that game now.
Here you are. Wow. Right, I'm back. So I've got the game. Virtual Racing. We open it up and we've got my original record card. Can you see that, Rob?
It's a bit blurry. You'll probably have to
really
wait for
hard
the focus. All right.
Right, so we've got Big Forest. I've only done 2 personal bests. But the best time for me was 39 seconds 88. And that was done done on 19th of August 1996. So make a note of that. 39 seconds 88. Big Forest.
39 seconds.
88.
88.
50 hertz. No 60 hertz back in 96.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to play my Virtua Racing at 50 because at 60 it's nuts.
Right.
Of course, my pen packs up. All right, I've almost wrote 50
just
hertz.
watch this stream back, Rob. Just watch it back if you need a record of that. 3988.
All right.
So, any more questions, guys? And I've got tons and tons and tons of comments. I will be reading back through these.
Of course, I suppose it is fair to mention that was probably you at your utmost peak.
Oh, that will mean when I had all the time in the world.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to give it a crack. No guarantees I'll be able to beat that, but I'll give it a crack.
Spent a full half term doing that. So I'm just reading. Matt's saying favourite music for him was Street Fighter 2, which I've got on in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not very loud though. So Andy's leaving us. Thanks for joining us, Andy. Cheers for that. Keep up the brilliant videos, mate. The fantastic editing. I don't know if you've seen his channel, Rob. You still there, Rob?
Yeah. Sorry.
Have you seen Andy's channel? I'll just give him a bit of a plug.
You will plug the channel name and everything.
Really good channel. Really good. Oh, we've got my good friend Paul. Paul Ellis. Okay, question for both of you guys. Which Sega games, if any, would you like to see redone on today's next-gen consoles? Or do you think the originals are best left that way? Very good question, Paul. Very good question. For me, I'd probably like to see... I'm not going to say Sonic, because that's too obvious.
Because they did Sonic 4 and, yeah.
They ruined that. Yeah, they made an absolute, complete...
Yeah.
Gambles of that, yeah. I would probably say some kind of Streets of Rage remake. I know Matt from Soul from Retro might not agree. But, yeah, something along the lines of Streets of Rage. Maybe a Streets of Rage 2 HD remake, you know, rather than going full 3D, some kind of 2D. I don't know. Some kind of, yeah, something like that. What about you, Rob?
I think that'd be pretty sweet. I mean, of course, we already have Streets of Rage 2 on our Genesis or Mega Drives, and they continue to work brilliantly. But I guess if you're going to take that to a modern platform, then you can do it in 1080 with just beautiful new hand-drawn art. You could totally do that.
Yeah,
I would like a new 2D Thunder Force.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Right, K-Lad Gamer, Russ, you played Daytona USA Online on PS3, Xbox. I've played it on. No, I've not played it on them. I'm lying. I'm thinking about something totally different. I'm thinking about Outrun.
Dreamcast?
I'm thinking about Outrun on PS2, which is the Outrun 2006, is it? Something like that. Yeah, so I've not played that. Played on Dreamcast. I've got Daytona on Dreamcast. She's quite good. Soulfunk Retro. Are there any games which afterwards you regret buying? Bloody hell, there is. Yeah, there is a lot. DJ Boy for one of them. Bloody hell.
I got a good answer for that.
Go on, man. Go on.
Uh, Batman Returns on the Sega CD. You remember the advert where they showed you the cool thing of Batman driving the car like this, and then it showed you
Yeah.
clips of the driving section and everything, and it looked amazing. And those bits did look amazing, but the game was hard as fuck. And then half of it was the same shitty platformer from the Mega Drive cartridge version. So I was kind of disappointed. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be more awesome stuff like this driving thing, but that was just only part of it, and it was too damn hard, as I recall back then.
Yeah. So Matt's just commented the Streets of Rage remake was amazing. Does that mean they've already done one?
Oh right, yeah, some fans made it, but it got shut down, didn't it?
Matt, would you like to expand on that? K-Lad Gamer, seems no one plays Daytona Online these days. No, unfortunately, I've not got any modding console really. The most modding I've got is Dreamcast. I ain't got a 360, I ain't got a PlayStation 4, 3. So, yeah, I'm just trying to find out about this Streets of Rage remake. Is that what it was? Were it just fan produced? Like Sonic 2 HD?
I mean, what I heard, it was basically it's all sprite lifts. I don't think there's any redone sprites or anything. There might be, but it looks like the traditional Streets of Rage 2, but there's just tons more of it.
Yeah. Mike said Bomber Games made Streets of Rage remake. He got it before Sega shut them down. So Luke's saying you can still get it enough if you use Linux, or know where to look for the Windows version. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. Not that I'll be able to play it, like, but
It'll play on any old PC, pretty much.
yeah. Well, it won't be playing on my arcade machine.
It might.
It's still poorly. It's
Oh damn.
its innards are being ripped out again, and it's currently having a new hard drive cloned. We tried it once the other day, and it would not work. It would not work at all. So
Sorry to hear that, Russ. I thought we'd gotten through that.
yeah, it was all right for a few weeks, and then it started crashing again. So I've got a new hard drive. So it will be back up and running. So, any more questions then, guys? How are we doing for time, Rob?
I'm alright, but I don't know. You can call it when you like, mate.
I just don't want it to tail off at the end.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit of a problem.
Or,
Hang on, maybe if I like, I'll put on a pirate hat. Does that help?
yeah, that looks a lot better.
All right, cool.
Keep that on. So while we're waiting for questions, I'm going to go back to my original question list. EverDrive, this is for the Sega Mega Drive.
Right.
EverDrive versus original cartridges. Talk to me.
Okay, now this is something that is kind of a real thing for me because I have only this one small shelf to have my games on. I
Yeah.
don't have room for every game I might like to collect, so I have to like draw the line somewhere that I've got these games that really matter to me, and then I have an EverDrive. And
Sorry,
that
Rob. Sorry, you're really putting me off with this pirate art.
oh, sorry, mate. I'll there you go.
Quite funny.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Like,
can I keep the mustache and eye patch?
can you lose the eye patch? Just keep the mustache.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have the room to have like every game I might like to collect. So I have a set few that these are important games to me, and then the EverDrive takes care of everything else that I might want to play on the original hardware. It seems a really good compromise for those of us who don't have all the space in the world. And
Yeah.
I've mentioned before on one of my other videos, were Soulstar, in fact, that you can then run all kinds of prototypes and hacks and everything on real hardware using the EverDrive, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I imagine in the right hands, not my hands, it's quite a good tool, isn't it?
No.
For homebrew and hacks like you say.
But yeah, so I only have a few Mega Drive games, and very recently I made the decision to get just a few more, ones that I've been wanting to have in my collection for a really long time.
Yeah.
And like finally I thought I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick these games up before they get even more expensive or harder to find. But even then, it's only 6 new ones, and then that's basically it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
EverDrives are good things,
they
and
are. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, I've got one for the PC Engine.
I think anything that stops real cartridges from being sacrificed is also a really good thing.
Yeah. I mean, if the EverDrive didn't come out, so they never invented it, I think a lot of people would have gone purely to full emulation, and the consoles would have just been left alone,
No,
left in the lofts of many people's houses.
no, but yeah, I love my Mega Drive, my EverDrive. It's an important tool, and I have the Mega Drive one, the Super Nintendo one, and an N64 one.
Oh, you spoil, you spoil. So we've got some questions. So the K-Lad game is saying, get an Xbox 360, PS3, super cheap these days, worth it for VR5 and Daytona. Still great to play offline. Blah blah blah.
Everything you just said is true.
Yeah. Is it true that even the super slim PS3 is region free? Is that correct?
Mm.
So Steve's asking if Frank is snoozing. He is. Steve is behind me on in front of the radiator.
Hey, one thing I'll tell you, Russ, you like shmups, right?
Yeah.
The 360 has a ton of really good shmups, and of course, all of those cave games, the HD versions of those cave games they put out, really good.
Yeah, I know a few people. I know Mark Holzberg. He's told me before, and Luke Synergy 1987 Under Defeat HD. Is that on 360?
Yeah, and PS3.
On PS3, yeah. So Matt, Soulfront Retro, how much do you think you would ever pay for a game?
Don't ask me that question.
How much have you paid for a game?
Mustn't say.
Go on.
Okay, you first. You first.
First, me first. Okay. Well, I've just bought a Saturn shooter, which is on its way here as we speak, and I paid I think with well, it was free postage. I think it was just under £80. Yeah. And back in the day, I couldn't afford virtual racing at £70, so I traded something in, and I think I traded a game in and paid what, £40 towards it. So yeah, so around the £80 mark. Yeah, that's what I've. Yeah.
Okay, so you're about the £80 mark.
Yeah. Go on then. What are you? Double.
I remember back in the day paying £65 for Street Fighter 2 and thinking that was a hell of a lot of money. But it's got a moustache on it. Look what it did. The
Yeah.
moustache went on
That's
Mizuki.
good, that.
This
What is it? Samurai Showdown 5
special
special. Yeah.
US copy, and it's the unfixed version. I'm not going to bother explaining that, but it makes it very rare. I paid €800 for that.
Whoa. When was this?
It's worth a lot more now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about 2 years ago I bought it. Maybe, yeah, but 2 years ago.
How much is it worth now then?
I've seen them selling for 1,200.
Bloody hell. Yeah. I know, going back to Neo Geo, AES.
It's for crazy people, but I can't help myself.
But I suppose you could see the games as an investment in years to come. If you wanted to sell your collection, I don't know if you would want to sell them, but
that's the thing. I mean, you think that
the money, and then
the way I look at it is that yeah, I can probably sell these back for what I paid for them at least.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll be losing money in that situation, but I want them because they're amazing. I mean,
keep talking, Rob. Keep talking. I'm just going to grab a beer.
I'm going to see if I can get the mustache to go on somebody again. Okay, it's gone there. I bought this because I love the game. It's quite amazing, and I think I might have had a fever or something and agreed.
Yeah. €800. Well, that beat my £80. You just took an extra zero on, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but you know, it's quite a thing to have. I mean, it's all up to the individual, I guess.
That's it. So Steve's saying about the PS3, all region free, mate, but don't get a PS3 Super Slim. The build quality is shite. Right. Fat 80 gig or slim, not the Super Slim. So there we go. So yeah, we've touched on that, and I'm going to end on the future for Sega, but I don't think it's going to be a happy question really, because at the minute things aren't too rosy, are they, so to speak. So I'm not going to ask you that, Rob. I'm going to ask you something a bit more upbeat. Sega's, for you, in your opinion, what was Sega's golden era?
It was the Mega Drive. Hands down. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
You know it in your heart. You know it in your heart.
Do you think they peaked with the Mega Drive?
You
know, if we're talking about popularity.
Yeah, yeah. In the whole damn thing, yes, they did.
I mean, they did pretty well, didn't they? I know. Did you've obviously read the collected works, and they were talking about market share, console market share. I think at one point they were like 5% compared to 95% Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then they released. I know Sonic 2 helped, got sold like 6 million copies. But they did that deal with EA Games with all the sports titles, the sports tie-ins.
Yeah, I mean you can't underestimate that to bring in a lot of people to the platform.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the things that did the Dreamcast in, to be honest, is EA wouldn't publish on it. Not that mattered to me, because I don't want to play EA sports games, but...
No, I remember playing... hockey, NHL hockey. That was quite good. I think I've got that actually somewhere. But yeah, so the Sega Mega Drive is showing me something.
No, I was just popping that away.
No, you're just wondering about.
I don't want to drop it on the floor.
Right. But the Sega Mega Drive was the golden era. Yeah, I think I'll agree with that, Rob. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the Mega Drive now. It just looks so cool. But saying that, the Japanese Mega Drive does look cooler.
Oh, do you like the colouring of the little white
I
bits?
like the colouring, and I also like the text. The different
Multi-AV, multiple use. How did it go?
Yeah. Speaking of Japanese Mega Drives, have you got your recent purchase to hand?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. It's living with my other ones.
Oh, it's living where?
It's living with my other Transformers.
Is it? At work?
Yeah, at work.
Yeah. If you're watching, guys, very recently on Rob's channel, Rockstar Runner 7, another plug for you, Rob, another plug for you. So go across, give him a sub. He's done a very recent video with his Megatron Mega Drive Transformer, which I've got to say, Rob, is ultra cool. Really is.
It's very cool.
Without like Michael Bay.
Something like that.
Michael Bay Transformers
Yeah,
sound.
that was an amazing discovery for me, and yeah, I love it. Can I ask you a question if we're finishing up? All right,
Yeah,
quick, simple, easy, fun question for you. Have you played Sega today, and if so, what was it?
I have played Sega today. I was playing earlier on. I was playing Streets of Rage 2. Actually,
Excellent.
I think it's a fantastic game. Fantastic game, really is.
You should
So,
get an answer for that. Get an answer for that from the people in the chat as well. Be good to know what everybody's up to.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, everyone who's viewing now, have you played Sega today? And if so, what have you played? Very quickly, just fire your answers into the comment box. I think there's like a 30-second delay.
No.
Rob, I think that's why. But hopefully you've enjoyed it, Rob. It's been quite good.
Thanks. I tried not to be too boring.
Yeah, I think we've been all right. Apart from that technical hitch.
Yeah, I mean that kind of threw me for a loop there, so I wasn't quite ready with pre-thought answers. I thought I'd have time to think about things a little more. So
yeah. Some questions were really quite hard.
Yeah.
I imagine for you, and then from what everyone.
Oh God, the being Mr. Sega question. That's a tough question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played Sega today.
You have Castlevania Bloodlines. So, have we got any comments back yet? Horatio Van Basten. He was playing, I can't even pronounce it, but I feel ashamed. Tatsujin?
Tatsujin, yeah.
Yeah.
Truxton.
It's what it is, Truxton.
Yeah.
He was playing that this afternoon. Mike was playing Outrun earlier. What were you playing on? What system were you playing that on, Mike? Anybody else? Anybody else? KLab Gamer, Soulfront Retro, Steve. Anyone else? We've got 11 viewers. So yeah, it's been good. So while we're waiting for a few more answers to come, if anyone fancies taking part in a future episode of Sega Memories with myself and little Frank, who's asleep, just let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I've got a few more people lined up for the next few weeks. If you're interested, just let me know. Killer Gamer, he wants Shenmue 3. Like now. Steve, what Steve said. I'm talking about. Oh, Matt's on Sega Rally right now. Sega Rally. So yeah, quite quite a bit of Sega loving, Rob, as we speak.
Good stuff. Glad to hear it. Thanks for inviting me on this thing, Russ. It was really fun to have a good chat with you because I don't think I've had so long to sit down with you and just talk about stuff. So
Yeah, we'll have to do it more often.
that was fun, and I guess gives you a chance to work out this format, and if you want to jiggle things around for next time.
I still can't get my head around this bloody Google Plus Hangouts.
So ever since they did that thing with YouTube where they made you have to have the Google Plus thing, it like me, I think for a lot of people, you ended up with 2 bloody accounts and then everything's a mess.
Yeah, I know. Last time when I did my 200 sub special, I got it straight on. Well, I mean, we literally spent 25 minutes trying to get Rob on, and in the end, I think, did I have to send you an email with the link?
Yeah, that's how I got the link in the end.
Yeah.
But we got there. Yeah. We did it. We got there.
I think they need to be streamlining it a bit more. Google, if you're watching, I'm sure they can do something to try and tart it up a bit. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope it's been okay. Like I said before, if you want to be on the next episode, I don't know what questions I'll be asking. I don't know whether I'll stick to the same questions or I'll add a few more or take a few away. I don't know. But just let me know in the comments below. Obviously, you can still comment once I've stopped broadcasting. Let me know what you thought to it. Be honest. I don't mind a bit of criticism. Apart from quality-wise, I can't really improve that because that's just how it is. So, but I think it's good enough to view. Sonic's there, look. There we go. Classic Sonic.
We're having an ET moment here. Ping!
Good old Sonic there. You can't beat him, can you?
Not at all.
You can't beat him. So, Steve, I'm going to finish with, is that a stubby? It is a stubby, yes. It's an Aldi stubby. That seems to have got some attention tonight. Or it could be that my hand's really big. I don't know. Anyway, Rob, so we'll leave it there, mate. Nice talking to you.
You too.
And we'll do this again in the future.
I look forward to it.
Maybe just a one-on-one instead.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop the broadcast, guys. So thanks for watching. Remember to stop by my channel, stop by Rob's channel, Rockstar Runner 7. Rockstar Runner 7. Get your sent over, guys. Give this man a sub. He lives in Finland. He's, it's late now where we are. What time is it there, Rob? 11?
11:15. Yeah.
Bedtime.
I'm very lonely over here, guys. Subscribe to me. Keep me company.
Yeah. There we go. So there we go, guys. So I am now stopping the broadcast. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting. Cheers, Rob, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
See you later.